The Mandalorian Season 3 comes out in less than 1 month, so let's build out a 6-inch Mandalorian Season 1 shelf. Of course, we have to start with the Mandalorian himself, with a custom head and cape by OT Customs. Since he is the main character, we are going to stick him right here on the middle shelf. I do have the Mafex and the Figuarts Mandalorian, but this one is still my favorite body. I just think it looks the most proportionate and realistic. Next we have IG-11, and I'm going to use the Mafex one here. I have the Figuarts and the Black Series. On the left here you see the Figuarts, on the right we have Mafex, and in the middle we have this little Black Series one that I don't think deserves to be in the line at all. Both the Figuarts and the Mafex are amazing, but I just think that the Mafex scales a little bit better, and so I'm just going to stick him right in the middle here next to Mando. I do think of them as two of like the main heroes from Mando, especially just their partnership in that first episode. It's such an iconic part of Season 1. By the way, these Hexagon stands were designed by me. The files are available on my Patreon and on Etsy. I will have those files linked below. And if you want to buy the physical printed ones from some of my sellers, you can DM me on Instagram and I will point you in the right direction. This is just a standard Black Series Jawa that I repainted to be kind of the more off-world Jawa. I need to get him that little egg from the Arvala 7 pack. Next we have Mix Mayfeld. This is actually a head that was repainted by Tim's Toys. This is from the very first Black Series release of Mix Mayfeld in his Imperial disguise. I did do a matte spray on the body. You can see actually right under in the middle of his torso where it's still a little bit shiny. I need to go back and spray that again. But I think that Tim did a really good job of bringing that head sculpt to life with a better paint job. I did a matte spray, a dark wash, and some metallic dry brushing on this Q90 figure. I think it really just kind of woke everything up. It looks so much better now. I actually really love the way this looks on the shelf, especially the leather looked very like light brown, and now I feel like it actually looks like leather. I have some dry brushing and dark washing tutorials on my channel if you would like to check those out. I did the same on this New Republic security droid. You can see it has more of a matte finish, and instead of just looking like dyed plastic, it looks a little bit more metal. It looks like it's actually a heavy object instead of just like a little plastic figure. I'm gonna stick him over here with the other characters from that episode. The 2020 Stormtrooper was such a huge revolution in the Black Series. This was a much needed update, and this body is just incredible, and I'm so happy that all the new Stormtroopers we've had since that one have all been on this new body. Speaking of new sculpts, they redid the Mandalorian sculpt. This is just miles beyond the other Mandalorians that we've had in the line, such as the Clone Wars ones, and even the original Beskar Mando and the Mandalorian figures. I think this body is just incredible. I did do some dark washing, dry brushing, the usual on that one as well, just to make it look a little bit more lifelike. So I'm really excited to see the new Beskar Season 2 Mando that we are going to be getting in the Black Series that uses a fully newly tooled sculpt because it is time to update him. This is the Scout Trooper that came with the Mandalorian speeder bike. By the way, if you want to see part 2 of this video, which is going to be the Season 2 Mandalorian shelf, please hit subscribe and ding that notification bell so you know as soon as that goes live. I will post that later this month before Mando Season 3 comes out. I think that this Greef Karga is actually one of the best Black Series figures of the last few years. I think it looks pretty much like the actor. I know a lot of people have some complaints about the sculpt. I think that the body, everything just looks so good. This is from one of my favorite Black Series sculptors. I follow his Instagram. We never got a Mythrol in the Black Series. We did see it in TVC, but this is a custom from Frederick's Figures. Frederick is a friend of mine, and he gifted me this Mythrol. I was so excited. He absolutely nailed the paint job here. I don't know where he got the head. He used a kind of mashup of bodies for the body, but it's just such a cool character. I also bought this on eBay a while ago. I don't know if it's still available, but if you want to have a Mythrol in your collection, this is one way to do it, but we don't really have room for him on the shelf right now. If you would like to check out Frederick or Tim or any of the other customizers that I mentioned in this video, they will all be linked in the description below. I suggest you check those out after the video. This is the Heavy Mandalorian. This is just the straight up Black Series figure. I don't even remember if I did any dark washing on him. It doesn't look like I did too much. It's a pretty decent figure right out of the package. I know some people have their complaints with it though. Then we also have the red Flame Trooper. This is the trooper that sprays out the fire. Just a nice pop of color and really cool to see that on the new Stormtrooper body. Moff Gideon is a pretty mid-level figure for me, but this cape from Fine Scale Atelier really makes all the difference. This is a darksaber that I used a little bit of white paint to kind of spark up the edges a little bit, make it look a little bit more vibrant like it does in the show, and I just think this pop of red is really beautiful and really brings in kind of that Imperial aesthetic that we get throughout the show, mixing in with all of the kind of the browns and blues and grays that we see with the rest of the characters. We never got a Death Trooper in the Mandalorian packaging, but this is going to fit right here. This is from the Rogue One packaging. This was re-released in the archive line later on. They were pretty easy to find as far as I remember. The little tracking fob that came with the Mandalorian build-up pack. I feel like I don't want to put too many accessories on Mando himself, so I gave it to the client. Defiant along with the Camtono. I remember that was such an exciting thing to get in the Black Series, to finally have that Camtono accessory. These are called the S'mores Troopers, or the Toasted Marshmallow Troopers, officially known as the Remnant Stormtrooper, just another one of the many Stormtrooper variants that we got on that awesome new body. Fennec Shand was such a cool addition to Season 1. It was nice to get introduced to that character. I was happy to see her come back. This is one of my absolute favorite costume and character designs in all of Star Wars. I was so excited to get this figure when it finally came out. I remember this figure, we saw it first in a post from a store in Hong Kong rather than Hasbro revealing it themselves. I did do a little bit of metallic details on her helmet, and then I gave this Queel like an entire dark wash. Actually, I think I repainted the whole thing. This was before I really knew what I was doing with painting. This is one of the first figures I did years ago, and it's faded a little bit, but I still think it actually looks pretty good, and I definitely prefer it to the bright color scheme that we saw in Queel originally. I love the character design of Cara Dune. I think her costume is just so cool looking, and this is one of the best sculpted figures in the Black Series, period, I feel. I think it looks really a lot like the actress, and then also just, I don't know, something about it, it's just so proportionate and just a great example of a good Black Series figure. And of course, I couldn't go the whole video without talking about Figuarts again. I actually think the Black Series Armorer is a great figure, but I actually don't know where mine is, and so we're going to use the SH Figuarts one here. She comes with that alternate skirt so she can do that kneeling pose like she does in the show, but I'm just going to give her the basic hammer here and put her in a little bit of an action pose. I think it's so cool to be getting such a deep and diverse selection of characters and figures from a show that has only been out for a couple years. There's almost no one missing from this shelf in terms of Season 1, maybe Dr. Pershing. Let me know if there's anyone on your Season 1 Mandalorian wish list that either I did not show today or Hasbro has not released yet. Subscribe right here on the channel if you would like to see the Season 2 shelf series, which is coming very, very soon. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.